In just a few short days, Gail Ettrick Trempealeau High School will once again welcome some of the region's best high school vocalists for AcaFest 2024. But now this annual showcase draws from a rich history, and that's really only developed over the past decade. News 19's Dustin Lukey recently spent time with the host group Vocal Point for an exclusive look back.
It takes just a few things to put together an a cappella group. You start with a solid foundation.
Getting a fill right or getting a crash to sound right.
That driving work ethic.
I can't count how many hours I've put into doing this.
Add in the high notes to inspire.
And it was just insane to think that I am one of those leading soloists that I used to look up to.
And all the voices blending in between creates a unique twist on pop music. It's something that Vocal Point director Ryan Stumpkes thought about a decade or so ago this would be fun to try with his students.
At the beginning, I took all my groups to just festivals and saw their groups, and they would always say, "Oh my God, they were so amazing, but we can't do that." And my question always to them was, why can't you do that? And so my biggest motto with these kids ever since, for the last 10 years, has been, just because you're from a small school doesn't mean you can't do big things.
And they've done some big things, including a third-place finish and Best Vocal Percussionist for Ethan Giles at the 2017 International Competition of High School A Cappella. And performing as part of the first ever a cappella concert at Carnegie Hall with the music director from the Pitch Perfect films. Moments that were made by students who once stood where these kids now stand.
I was actually inspired by one Alana Peters, and I went to the musical that she was in, and I talked to her a lot, and she was a big inspiration to me.
My older brother was a vocal percussionist before me, and there's this sense of fulfillment and want to make him proud and then to make the group proud. And as I've gotten older, I've made my own identity in the group instead of just following him. And then there's this feeling of lineage. There's a very healthy, fulfilling responsibility.
It's a lineage that's evident in what Stumpkes says are now the hundreds of groups around the region that have popped up in the past decade.
It wasn't for us, right? As teachers, we were thinking about how can we do what we're doing and the success that we have, and we know how this affects students in a positive way. How can we share that with more people?
Certainly the accolades help, but Stumpkes says looking ahead, it's about leading by example, putting together the elements to create an experience for all of his students and for all who witness the results of everything that goes into it.
This group means so much to so many people, and it's incredible to see how far we've come and how far we'll go.
And if you'd like to see Vocal Point and other high school caliber a cappella performances from around the region, you can get your tickets now for AcaFest. It's hosted by our very own Dustin Lukey and Danny Smith. That's Saturday night at 7 p.m. at the GET Performing Arts Center. There are only about 50 tickets left, so you better get going. You can find a link to reserve your ticket by finding this story on our website, WXOW.com.